Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, chillins of all ages, Tony Basilio, proudly, week number 5. It is Winners and Losers, presented by our friends at Dos Equis. And let's shout out our friends at VIP Play as well. In fact, VIP Play, Will Heflin, who's smoking hot on the year, is back for another week. Will he cool off? Brian Hartman last week, proving sometimes the less you know can be more, as he gave us a great play on the Washington Redskins. No, Brian, who are they? What are they called now? I'm sorry. They're the Commanders. I do that, guys. I still call the Indians, and I'm bad about that. I'm bad about that. Kyle Blackburn's back for more. I had a chance to see him last week at Calhoun's on the River. It was absolutely beautiful. And C is back in the house. Picking in abstensia this week will be the clone, who comes to us from parts unknown, who has a Vince Ferrari pick, as well as a few other sorted goodies. And C is in the house. Hey, Kyle, from a watchability standpoint, you've done the heavy lifting here, presented by our friends at Dos Equis Go For Dose. Grade the card for me, Kyle.
G plus, Tone. I don't see. I mean, this is the best week we've had thus far. Might be one of the best two or three all season long. I think at one point it was six matchups, amongst top 25 teams, down to four, I think. But a bunch of those ranked opponents playing non-ranked opponents are still really, really compelling. So I think it's the best one we've had this season.
Everybody agree? What about from a bettability standpoint, Will Heflin?
Doesn't always correlate, does it?
No.
Watchability to bettability.
No.
But the ones I'm most interested in seeing is the highest ranked matchup, because Oregon and Penn State come into their matchup with neither one having really had to show anything. So from a fact finding perspective, or just finding out, what these teams are really about, this week will tell us a lot. And it's one thing to return your quarterback in Drew Aller and your two good running backs and bring in some good guys on offense and just be one of the teams going into the year. You're like, yeah, they were there last year. They return enough. They should be there. We saw with Clemson, that's not necessarily the case. So, it's easy to assume Penn State will be in the hunt all year, but it's a new team. We'll find out a lot about them. Oregon, kind of same way, ton of talent, but they are breaking in Dante Moore at quarterback. So that's a huge matchup, but I don't know how bettable it is. Some weird lines all across the board.
Yeah.
And those compelling matchups that Kyle talked about, maybe some teams bounced out of the top 25, like Auburn, who lost at OU last week. They're back at it again against Texas A&M. That was a ranked matchup. Now it's not. Some of these lines are just at first glance, it's okay. Is this a trap? I don't really know. Why is Georgia only laying 3 against Alabama at home? Alabama got smoked at FSU. All those sort of questions we got to ask ourselves this week.
What I don't understand, and I don't mean talk over you, wordy Will, is what changed in the Penn State Oregon deal from the summer when it was a 6-point line till now? See, what's changed? Like, what? I don't get that line.
Nothing's changed except Oregon had a flashy win against the dreadful Oklahoma State team who got abused by Tulsa a few weeks later. I think that obviously the Franklin narrative comes into play here, but I don't want to spoil my picks, but at least in his picks over, Lee and I are both on the same side of that one. At 3.5, it's kind of I think it's a little bit more of a tough game to bet. It did touch 3 in the middle of the week. Yeah, I'll save that for our picks, but I think that it seems like it's a little bit of an overreaction for this to have moved from 6.5 to 3.5 based on both teams playing three pretty bad opponents in the first 3 weeks of the season. I guess Penn State's coming off a bye. Oregon, obviously coming off that Oregon State game, who's atrocious. So it is I think it might be the most interesting game on the schedule. I'm pretty high on Penn State, but obviously it's not without questions because Aller has not looked very sharp early in the year. So we'll see how much that's real and how much isn't.
Guys, you all understand the inner workings of this stuff a lot better than I do. What games have bigger handles? When the SEC has the game they have, or when the Big Ten has those signature games in the space? Which one of those games would have bigger handles?
Oh, it depends on the state that you're in.
Yeah.
SEC, a VIP, the SEC is always going to have more.
Okay.
And we're a small operator, but the trends are probably the same at scale. I think overall, it's probably reasonable to assume that SEC, like a Georgia Bama matchup, will always have the most. But even though Michigan's not as highly ranked, Ohio State, Michigan, I would say probably has more handle than Oregon, Penn State. Without having looked at anything, those are just my guesses.
See, would you buy that as well? It seems like those big footprint schools, before we get going here, folks want to get action on these things, right? The recreational gambler.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have Penn State and Oregon on NBC on a Saturday night, and Georgia, Alabama on ABC. I mean, people who are at the bar on their phones are going to probably bet. I don't think there's going to be much of a difference nationally outside of the region you're in.
Yeah.
Somebody who's in the Northeast, New York City, obviously college football not as big there, but they may be some Penn State grads at the bar. They see two brand names, they'll fire up their app and bet on that game. Or I don't think there'd be a big difference. So I think both games are going to get large handles. Would be my guess.
Go for Dose Blair isn't here tonight, so in honor of him, Brian Hartman, welcome back for another week, my man. Brian, go for Dose. Give me 2 picks from the colleges, my man. Hit it.
2 picks at once?
You got it.
Okay, I'm going to take a few underdogs here, and I'm banking on the flight from one coast to the other being a factor here. I like Washington plus 8.5 at home against Ohio State. This is a venue that Ohio State is not familiar with. This is the first road game for Julian Sand, and we'll see how he handles the crowd noise that I understand can get pretty loud at Alaska Airlines Field in Seattle. And Washington is a team that can score a lot of points. They've shown they can score a lot of points, although I don't know if the competition has been all that great. Both teams have gone for 70 this year against FCS competition. Ohio State did play Texas, and it was kind of low scoring, so we don't know how that's going to play out. What gives? Washington at home, it's a 12:30 noon start. So I like the Huskies plus 8.5 against Ohio State. Not necessarily saying they're going to win outright, but I do like that line higher than 7.
Go for Dose, Bri. Go for Dose.
So that's my first play. The second one is another team going from west to east this time. Utah is traveling to Morgantown, West Virginia. That's not a familiar venue for them either, I don't think. Both teams are coming off thrashings by Kansas and by Texas Tech, respectively, last week. Which one is going to get over their hangover or do better to overcome their hangover better in this matchup? It's a lot of points for Utah, 12.5 in Morgantown. West Virginia sort of plays well every other week. They upset Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago at home. They go to Kansas, get beat. And that the Pittsburgh game came a week after losing at Ohio. So West Virginia's kind of gone back and forth here. So this is the week that you might want to get on them. They're plus 12.5 in their building. I don't know if they're ever an underdog by that much at home often, but they are this week. And it just seems like that's a lot of points to trust Utah with on the road after a game like they just had. So I think when you're trying to bounce back from a game like this, playing at home helps. West Virginia's the home team. I like the Mountaineers plus 12.5.
Panel, anybody on any of what Bri had? Panel.
What? Washington. I'm on Washington.
All right, tell me why.
I think, like Brian said, it's a tough spot. We talked about that. I think Washington's a little bit undervalued. I'm a little higher on Jed Fish than maybe some people are. I know he's kind of a polarizing guy. I'm impressed with this Washington team and watching him early in the year. I think that offensively they're taking a big step forward. But really, with Ohio State and obviously over a touchdown, I like it. It opened at 10.5, so the market agrees with Brian here. I think Ohio State. I still have a little bit of concern about their defense. Maybe not concern, but question marks. Because coming into the year, they have a coordinator change going with Knowles to Patricia, and I was a little bit concerned about that for the Texas game. But we saw the Texas game, and everybody said, "Oh, Patricia has figured it out," and he did a great job. But how much of that is just as we've seen with Arch after that game? Arch literally couldn't throw the ball forward, even against San Jose State. And the few weeks after that, I know he bounced back a little bit against Sam Houston, but I think Ohio State's defense is a little bit more questionable than maybe we think, because that Texas offense in the first week was so out of sorts, and they still moved the ball, outgained Ohio State by 100 yards in that game. So I think this is a tough spot, like Brian said, with the cross country travel. And Ohio State, I think a few more questions on defense than maybe you'd give them credit for. And Washington, obviously, I think is much improved. So I like anything over a touchdown here for Washington.
Willie, you on either of these? Anything here?
No, it wasn't officially, but I did kind of like the Ohio State team total under 30.
Right.
And I agree with the stuff about Arch, but I also am a huge Caleb Downs fan, so I think it's just my feeling of Ohio State's defense is that it's really, really good. So I was like, well, I do think Washington can stay within this number. But like Bryce said, Sayan's first start on the road, 30 feels like a lot. So
Just saying.
I like their play. I'm just if you like it but don't necessarily want to worry about having to
Yep.
score late, to get back inside the number or something, I don't think Ohio State gets to 30.
I'm staying in my corners here, Peter Marshall. Let's go to Kyle Blackburn now, who's going to go for dose right off the top. We're calling an audible here, Kyle. I've scripted my first 20 plays. Maybe I'm not a Josh Heupel. Maybe I'm not a Jeff Levy, but we better put some points on the board here in the first quarter. Go for it.
First play, Rice at Navy. The total was 44.5. When I bet it, I'm betting the under. It's pretty simple cap, service academy style football at its best, minimal possessions, slow pace. Both those teams are or some of the teams are worse than the FBS and pace, and then they're going to play keep away from each other. So that to me is a formula for playing the under in that game.
Will, what's the number at VIP Play right now? VIP Play Will Heflin as we speak. Or were you scrolling on your phone? Which one were you doing? Were you looking that up?
I'm scrolling the app on my phone.
We're 5 weeks into this now, Will.
Right, what time is that game at?
Kyle, give me play number 2. It's Rice Navy. He has it under 44.5.
45.5 right now.
45.5. All right. Kyle, will you still play it at 45.5?
That would be better, yes.
Okay, very good. I'm very roached right now. Hey, relax, babe. Relax, brah. Relax over there. Give me go for dose.
All right, so I was torn on this because a couple of different games. I figure Bry or will come up with a couple others to chime in on. So I'm going to go with Kentucky at South Carolina. Total, again, I got it at 47. I'm actually playing the under, and I think the line is now down to 45.5. I'm not saying either of these teams will or won't make a bowl, but I think it's really difficult to see either of these teams making a bowl without winning this game. If that makes sense. I think the defenses will be ready. Offenses we've seen are not great. Slow pace again, which is a big thing when I'm factoring in the total. Anytime Kentucky has the ball, you can pretty much run to the bathroom between plays. My only concern on playing the under is you do have that Frankie Jr. special potential.
That's right.
But I also I think Stoops is 6-10 coming off of buys, which is an interesting stat for a football coach to be that poor coming off of having extra prep. And that was courtesy of a buddy of mine who's a Kentucky fan. So I feel like that's going to be a classic SEC almost snoozer because I don't think there's going to be a ton of action. But I think the under is the play on that one.
So Kyle's 2 plays are he's playing totals again. Rice Navy under 45.5. Kentucky, South Carolina, 45.5. Panel. Panel.
I don't think I'll watch either one of those.
Well, that's
Neither
I like the Rice. I like the Rice.
Kyle didn't sell it like it games you want to watch.
Huh?
You don't have to
True.
watch. You don't have to watch the games to make money on them, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, listen to him. He doesn't
Yeah,
watch any
that's true.
WNBA. Hey, he doesn't watch any WNBA. So he doesn't. He's bet it about 45 times this summer so
No,
far.
that's not true.
So, all right, let's hear from the Jukey here.
Hello, folks. I'm the Juke. I'm going to make you a lot of money. Prime game this weekend. Saturday, the Buckeyes travel west coast to play Washington. Washington, getting 8.5 points. Take the money. Cash with me. Plus 8.5. Washington.
We might have us a power play. We might have us a power play there, Bry. When the Juke, hey Bry, when the Juke is ringing through loud and clear, you know you have a good play, brother.
Yep, and I am going to make a mortgage right now. Pull out
No
most of the
question.
bank money.
No
and going for
question. Go right over to VIP Play. All kinds of great specials for you. Willie, before you give your picks, what do we have going on at VIP Play this weekend?
Well, Tony, we've got a college football 20% boost, a Ryder Cup 10% boost, a sweepstakes giving away 4 tickets to the More Important Issues charity golf event next weekend in Knoxville. 15% boost on the Tennessee game, 15% boost on the Alabama-Georgia game, 15% boost on the Titans game, all that good stuff. And there's one tonight, but by the time you're listening to this, you missed it. Sorry for the Cardinals
Titans
Seahawks.
need a boost.
The Titans do need a boost. Might be mostly Texans being boosted because they're playing the Titans. But that's neither here nor there, Tony. Do you want me to go for Dose?
I do, but before you do, let me say this. My friends at Dos Equis, Lager Especial, Golden Pilsner style beer. Say it loud, say it proud. Choice of hops. Drink it up. Get some now. Balanced composition, smooth, clean finish. Party guest, always invited, never overstays as welcome. We're talking about a nuanced blend of malts and earth tones. Flavorful yet light tasting, smooth, balanced composition, smooth finish. It's unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, the lager beer you must try is Dos Equis Lager Especial. Go for Dos.
Also,
That's your cue.
use code TNTony if you haven't made a VIP Play account yet. But you got to be 21 and in Tennessee to do so. Gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. I'm going to go for Dose. Friday night, Tony. TCU's catching 3 at Arizona State. Probably the square side. I don't care. Josh Hoover has played at an unbelievably high level. Levitt kind of regressed a little bit. Arizona State always going to be scrappy, but give me the Frogs catching 3 on the road. And then you said I was hot, Tony. Look, 8-3 in the colleges with the picks, 10-4 overall in my debut season on Winners and Losers. So I'm going to go, you know what, on the table with this one. No cap. You're not getting a cap. Alabama +3.
I love the Alabama play. I love that. Alabama is going to rock and roll on Georgia secondary tomorrow, just like Tennessee did. Alabama's going to rock and roll on Georgia secondary. Bama +3 on the road. They are a live dog in every sense of the word, in my humble opinion. Panel, let's talk about these 2 games. We've got an interesting game tonight on the Friday night with TCU and Arizona State. And then Bama catching 3. Panel.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not on TCU. but I do have a future on TCU to win the Big 12. So I'm going to be cheering for TCU. I think TCU is I actually think TCU is the best team in the Big 12. It's probably we're headed towards what it looks like a TCU Texas Tech title game in the Big 12. So I'm not playing that just because I'm already pretty exposed on TCU and obviously +3, +2.5, whatever it is. I'm just gonna cheer for the outright win, but I think TCU is the better team here. So I like that play. If I had to play it, I would play TCU, and then the Alabama game. We've talked about that, Tony, on the Daily Show. We've been kind of talking about this for 2 weeks. You asked me on the Daily Show, I guess yesterday, who the best team in the SEC is, and I said Alabama, which is kind of a crazy thing to say. But I'm definitely on Will's side here. I think Georgia defensively, especially in the back end, is pretty questionable, and I think Alabama's going to take advantage of it. This line's been kind of like Will talks about, kind of fishy, moving down for a few weeks now, and I know at some places it's dipped under 3. I think Alabama's the better team here, and I know that's a crazy thing to say after we saw them against Florida State, but I'm with Will. I think Alabama wins this game straight up.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's heeded the bat signal. Before we go to see who will go for Dose, the format tonight is everybody's going for Dose in honor of my man, Dos Equis Blair, who's not here on this glory day, but he's here with us in spirit. We love you, Blair. Get back soon, my brother. Hey, Nashville Lee, go for Dose, brother. Go for Dose.
What's up, fellas? Where are we at? Tell me.
Well, hey, okay, here's what we have so far. Brian Hartman went for Dose. He's got Washington +8.5 with Ohio State. C likes that. West Virginia +12.5 with Utah. Kyle's got Rice Navy under 45.5. Kentucky at South Carolina under 45.5. Will's got TCU +3 with Arizona State. Bama +3 on the road with Georgia. Go for it.
All right. First of all, Kyle is super sharp again on both of those unders. Those are both really good plays. Love TCU against Arizona State. Love that play. As far as Bama Georgia goes, I sent you this. This is like the biggest play I've had this year. It's over 50. It's up to 53 now. I played 52.5. I don't get this line. Like, I don't know why this is 52.5, 53. This isn't like a decade ago. This is 2025 Bama Georgia. I think both these defenses are questionable. Like, every time DeBoer has seen the Kirby Smart Dan Lanning defense, like, he's completely shredded it. So yeah, I think this goes way over. I don't get why this line isn't sitting at like 55.5 or 56. At least a point over that key of 54. So that's the biggest play that I've got this year so far. So,
all right, panel, let's park there. I think he's right. I think a lot of points are going to be scored. I think Alabama's going to score most of them. I think Alabama's going to rock them tomorrow. Would be my humble opinion. Of course, that means people follow me. You fade me, and Lee's over there worried like hell, trying to figure out how he can buy out of that thing. But the rest of you guys, let's talk about this game from a point scored perspective. Over 53. What do you guys think?
They almost got to 100 last year. Each year, each game's mutually exclusive, but the style, like Lee was saying, Kirby's defense, DeBoer's got the answers for it, right? And Ryan Williams, that was his one really breakout game, was against this Georgia team.
Yeah.
I think Bernard's probably their better guy, but Georgia's good on offense too. Zachariah Branch is a matchup problem for Alabama's secondary. Florida State was able to expose them on the outside, maybe not necessarily outside, but once they got into space. So if they can get Branch into space, he could get loose. There's a lot of reasons to think that this thing is going to be far, far away from a 2017 brawl.
Why, guys, do the models say 53.5? Why did they come with that line, guys?
I think they're expecting weather.
Okay.
That's the other thing, because I hear there's a 70% chance of rain. So
okay.
I don't know if that makes a difference in anybody's thinking.
I would say also, just so you got to think there's some prior stuff with Georgia's defense. I think that, I mean, just like with the Tennessee game, I thought the line was, we talked about it on this show 2 weeks ago. I thought the total was way too low in the Tennessee Georgia game. And I know that what Georgia does in those first couple games is can't really be used, but the numbers were really questionable, and some of the under the hood stuff was really questionable with that Georgia defense in the bye games. And then you saw against Tennessee how inept they were defensively. Obviously, Tennessee had a good plan and everything, but I didn't think. I mean, some of the stuff they were doing in the back end was really bad. I don't see how they're going to improve enough to stop Alabama on defense. I think they have a lot of work to do on defense. So I agree with Lee. It's going to be hard. It's hard for me to see Georgia getting enough stops to keep this number under the total.
Since 1897, ladies and gentlemen, Dos Equis has been brewing it up. League, go for Dos, brother. Give me your second play from the college A's.
All right, yeah, I don't know if y'all talked about Penn State and Oregon, but yeah, this is
Nope.
like the first. This is the first play that I put in this week. I played Penn State. I laid the points, laid the 3.5. I don't get this line either. Like when this first opened up, like way back in like February, this was like there was shops that had 10 Penn State -10. Then it got bet down to like 7.5, and it stayed there all summer. And this thing reopens. We're sitting on 3.5. Like what has changed? And that nothing has changed. Like I think it's just people's perception because of 3 games that Oregon played versus nobodies versus really bad teams, Oregon State, Oklahoma State, and somebody else. It doesn't matter. I don't think Penn State has showed anything at all against Villanova or whoever they played. I still have questions about Oregon, especially on the defensive line. I have major questions about them being able to stop Penn State's run game here. Oregon gave up 175 on the ground to Northwestern. I think Penn State runs all over that defense, especially that. I don't trust that front seven on defense for Oregon. Just the situation, the whiteout at night. Like I know people talk about James Franklin versus top 10 teams. He's also a favorite at home, and you can go back, I don't know how long, 20 years. He's the best in the sport when he's favored at home against the spread. Like he's ridiculous. I think Oregon's being a little bit. I think there's been an overreaction with Oregon based on the 3 games that they've played, or 4 games, or however many it's been.
Yeah.
I don't get why this has changed. Why this is like 3 to 4 points lower than where it sat for months and months. And I think Penn State's at home. I think they're the overall better team. Small game Jim. Yeah, I think he wins. Yeah.
Does anybody else have this game? Anybody else have this on their radar? Because I was asking you guys earlier, which leaves a great way of articulating it. I mean, what has changed? I guess Penn State's looked, what would we call it? Well, Penn State's looked kind of lame. I mean, Penn State's hadn't played an engaging game yet. It's kind of like us judging Georgia rather, before they came in the Neyland Stadium, where it was telling me that kid couldn't throw the ball in the end zone. I'm going, based on what? I mean, based on that he hasn't had to? I mean, these games are so bad now.
It's very similar, and that's why we're going to find out a whole lot about both of them.
He's got some pressure too. I mean, he worked hard to get that whiteout game because the way that the TV stuff has changed on them, there's not as many options because the biggest game is going to go to noon.
That's right.
On Fox, and there's limited NBC games because of Notre Dame being in the picture for their home game. So you've been barking about that, not getting the games they wanted, and they want to play those prime games at night, same way LSU does. So he got what he wanted, so everyone's going to be watching.
See, thought on the play Penn State minus the 3.5.
Yeah, I was going to give that out as well.
Okay.
So I sniped a 3, but I'm fine with 3.5. I sniped a 3 middle of the week. I feel a little bit better about that just because I do think it could be a close game. But I think basically Lee summed it up pretty well. It doesn't make a lot of sense that it's gone this low. I don't think we don't know really anything about either team. Is the basics. The Oklahoma State game, I think people overreacted to maybe because of the brand name. But as we've seen with how bad Oklahoma State is, I don't think you can take much from that, much more than Villanova or whoever like that Penn State's played. So I think that when you have a game that was around a touchdown in the summer that's been suddenly bet down to a field goal just because of performance against 3 bad teams on both sides, I'm willing to take the better team, the team that has proven quarterbacks and proven playmakers, and they're also spot wise in a great spot. They're coming off a bye week. Oregon's coming across the country after playing Oregon State last week. We got like Kyle said, they have the whiteout at night, so kind of everything situationally lines up for Penn State as well. If they lose this game, I would have some serious question marks about. I mean, when can they do it? Because this is about as good a chance to win the top 10 game as you're ever going to get on paper, I think. And I think Knowles is being a little bit undervalued. I think he's right up there at the top of the sport as far as DCs. And obviously, I think he's probably been planning. Dante Moore is kind of unproven.
Cool.
He had some
Cool.
stinkers at UCLA
Mm.
as a freshman. So I think Knowles will probably get him a little bit turned around at times. So I like Penn State here as well. That would be one of my two plays here.
And Lee, at the end of the day, that's why they brought that Knowles guy in for games like this. They got Penn State under Franklin has to start winning games like this if we're going to have credibility.
Yeah, exactly. Like Knowles played this Oregon defense twice last year, and the last time was in the Rose Bowl, and they destroyed them. And like I said, I think having Kolnicki at OC and Knowles at DC, I think those two assistants are massive for Franklin. Like his issues, like getting by getting through these big games. I think having those two guys there help him out tremendously. Like as far as in-game adjustments go, decision making goes, just game prep for these types of games. Having a Jim Knowles on your staff makes all the difference in the world. I think he's as good as there is. So, yeah, I think it's a really good price on the better team at home in a great spot. Yeah.
It's a lot to overcome. James Franklin's a lot to overcome for those two coordinators. All right, C, give me your second play, and it better not be Dan Baylor.
It's not Baylor.
Don't trigger me. Do not trigger me here.
I am going to trigger because I've known this was coming on Winners and Losers since the day Deshaun Foster got fired. I'm gonna.
Don't do that. Don't you do what I think you're about to do.
Yeah, we're going with UCLA against Northwestern. This is a great spot. We always talk about the first game with the interim coach. We got Preston Stone, who's a turnover machine. We have a clear advantage for Nico at the quarterback position in this game. Obviously, UCLA is dreadful. We know that. Tony, you called me during that New Mexico game a couple weeks ago, and I told you that I had bought a little bit of UCLA live, and that turned out that maybe this will turn out just as bad. Maybe UCLA. I know UCLA is bad. We don't have to.
Right.
This is a bad sell job. I know how bad they are.
Hey, lucky
I don't think they're this bad.
Hey, lucky for you, your Asia Wilson prop pulled you through that night. Your same game, your SGP on Asia Wilson that night. But back to where we are here.
This is a lot of points for a team playing Northwestern.
Nico's catching how many?
A touchdown, or is that what it is? VIP will, or is it under 7 now?
Nico plus
6.5.
Nico plus 6.5.
All right, that's fine. We'll go 6.5. We'll go anything over 6.
I mean, they play in like a makeshift high school stadium. And Lee, you and I back in week 1 were laughing at this turn to stone dude. I mean, I don't know.
That's got a beautiful view.
Well, it's got a beautiful view, Brian. And the stone guy will throw the ball in the damn ocean.
Does the fact that they're going after such a heartbreaking, after going like against New Mexico, they're going from coast to coast. Does that sort of not play a factor in your thinking?
Well, they're off a bye week. They're off a bye, and they have a new coach.
This Stone guy is Lee. For those that haven't seen him, how bad is this dude from Northwestern?
Yeah, he's been tremendously disappointing. Like I actually thought Northwestern might be a little bit sneaky this year because they actually had a quarterback with some experience, but he just hasn't been able to handle anything so far. So yeah, he's going to turn the ball over a couple of times. I mean, yeah, I took UCLA too earlier in the week. I think this number is kind of stupid. UCLA doesn't have to win the game; just stay within a touchdown.
We got to make Nico power play. Are y'all confident, Kyle? Are you confident with Nico being a power play?
Yeah, I actually on the side did a tiny little money line sprinkle on UCLA.
It's all about Nico this week.
Hey, man. Hey, why not?
Nico.
Makes about as much sense as anything as stuff that's going on in the sport right now. All right, guys, let's go over to the NFL. Everybody give me a play from the NFL. Brian Hartman, you're red hot after your Washington play last week. How about Scariota, Bri? Beating somebody by 3 scores in the NFL, dude. Scariota.
Yeah, I think the offense seems to fit him almost perfectly to what they're doing there now, and they're competently coached. And he was a pretty formidable backup for them last year. I think he came off the bench and won a game or two there. So I think that was a good play. I'm going to go with the Chiefs at home plus 2.5. The Chiefs are an underdog again at home, like they were against the Eagles. This time, I think the Chiefs will be the right play. I think the Ravens defense is really going to have a hard time stopping. They haven't stopped much of anything this year, but they're not going to stop Mahomes at home in a sort of the Chiefs are kind of in a spot where both teams are 1-2. So this almost I don't want to say a must-win game, but I think the Chiefs respond here and they get the win outright plus 2.5, and that's my play.
Jahmyr Gibbs carved them up, boys, on Sunday night on Monday night the other night. That Lions, that's ridiculous. All right, let's move along here. Brian's got the Chiefs plus 2.5. Let's take them in the order we took them. Kyle, what you got?
Well, since my play was so good last week, I had the Falcons scoring first and winning. I'm still waiting on them to score. That was just an abomination. Absolutely awful experience. I'm going back to the well. We're going to go Houston covering the spread at -7 and CJ Stroud over 218.5 passing yards. That's plus 205 as one of those specials on VIP play. That's what I'm going to do pretty much every week is I'm going to check the app and find something because there's always good opportunities to cash in there. So that goes back to my week 1 fade, the Titans forevermore. And they're both 0-3.
Hey,
but they're both 0-3.
Go ahead, Bri.
Kyle, the Falcons
Brian's
did
a
score.
Jags fan. This is what Brian does. Brian comes in there and stomps on all the other AFC South teams that are worse than them. He does it all the time. This one's going to chime in. They're not even going to win.
No. I'm going to go back to last week. The Falcons did score. They gave the Carolina Panthers a touchdown. Gave them. So they scored in a way.
Hey, guys, have you all seen who the new offensive coordinator is in Nashville?
Yes. Bo Hardegree.
Yeah. Kyle, what sport did he play? What was he known for as a kid?
He grew up playing tennis and was an elite tennis player.
That's exactly right.
And
how many elite tennis players are coordinators? He came with the late, great Daniel Brooks to UT. It's part of a package deal. I remember at the time on the air, we were all going, Bo Hardegree? Who is Bo?
Joan, I played against Bo Hardegree in juniors. And
wow.
It looked about like you trying to return Anthony Serve up at Beaverbrook.
Moving along. We're evoking. You're getting into my personal life. And my lack of athletic prowess. Will Heflin, let's go to the NFL, my friend.
Let's do it. I don't know if I deserved to win the Chargers minus the 2.5 last week.
You don't deserve much, Chief.
Anytime you get one like that where it feels like you kind of snuck away with it or stole it, then you count your lucky stars and move on to the next one. So VIP play does something that not every book still does. Okay. It is hard to find a teaser that is worth playing anymore. VIP play will give you a 6-point football teaser at minus 125. I'm not going to name other books, but it's minus 140, minus 130. It's really hard. You really should get minus 120 if you're going to play it. But minus 125 is borderline, okay? Might get fired for saying that out loud, but it's if you're just following, rules of betting, to play a teaser, it needs to be better than minus 130. So minus 125, not too bad.
I have a question. Will they let you cross 3 and 7 at minus 125 in the NFL?
The one I'm about to give out, I did cross 7. Yes. This is Tampa, who was plus 3.5. We're going to buy the 6 points, get them to 9.5. The Eagles cannot keep getting away with this. Okay. They're due to lose. Baker, he may not win the game, but they'll stay inside 10 at home. And then we're going to take that over 44 down to 36. Normally, if you're going to take a dog, you should tease it to the under. But Baker Mayfield in that offense, 36, I feel okay with it being, 20-16. You get there. So we're going to go Tampa plus 9.5, Tony, over 36. That's a two-team teaser or two-leg teaser.
Yeah.
It's the same game, 6-point, minus 125.
You and Lee worked this out beforehand because he wasn't supposed to be in here. And Lee, say you're up next. And he cued you right to that Eagle beat, which Lee, last week when you saw that Davis kid rumbling after blocking a kick, running like that, you had to be thinking to yourself, this is one of my worst beats of all time, and I got to find a better way to spend my time than what I'm doing here. That was unbelievable, guys, that the Eagles won that game and that people like Lee lost their bets. You were winning what, for 59 minutes and 50 seconds, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles' cover probability was like less than 1%, like halfway through the fourth quarter. Like look, that's been par for the course for me in this league for like a year and a half now. It's just the way I don't know. It's just the way that league has gone for me. Like it's favorites are winning straight up at a ridiculous rate, still carrying over from last year, and that's generally not going to be good for a guy like me. So yeah, that was just another one. Like I'm to the point now where I almost halfway expect it. That's just kind of how it's been. But
and you keep getting up. You keep getting up, man, and you keep making a bet, which I can appreciate.
Well, I mean, I firmly believe that it will turn. Like I will eventually be back on the right side of this garbage. Like this can't continue. Blocked field goals, returned meaningless touchdowns to cover whatever that number was last week. I'm eventually going to be on the right side of this, and when it does, it's going to be great. Like I'm going to have a party. It's going to be awesome. Life's going to be good.
Yes.
Yeah, I text you. I was going to give out the Bucks too, like Bucks plus 3.5. Like I think the Eagles really miss Kellen Moore. That offense, I think, is kind of garbage. Like there's no like ingenuity in it, creativity in that offense anymore, and especially in the passing game. Like you cannot run on the Bucks. Yeah, I like the Bucks plus 3.5. But since you gave it out, I'll give out one real quick. Talking about the Falcons last week getting shut out and losing by 30. They fit like two criteria this week. I am on the Falcons. A team that was shut out the week before and is a dog the next week covers about 62% of the time. And a team that lost by 30 or more the week before covers about 62% of the time the next week. So the Falcons fit both of those. There's actually three teams that lost by 30, and they all fit: the Saints, the Bengals, and the Falcons this week. But I like the Falcons more than the other two. I think Washington's still really banged up. They're dealing with a lot of injuries on their defense. Don't know if Daniels is going to play. They could be down like two of their top three wide receivers. That Falcons game was really weird. I'm not saying they should have won, but they did outgain the Panthers by like 100 yards. Like it was just one of those weird NFL games. Penix was off. Yeah, the Falcons are back at home. Yeah, I like the Falcons this week. I would take a look at them.
What's the number, Lee?
It got bet today. Like I got them at plus 1.5. It was like down to like close to pick them.
Okay.
An hour ago. So.
All right, we'll put a pick 'em. We'll just throw that up there.
He gets 1 point plus 1.
All right, plus 1. We'll take the point even. As Kyle said earlier, that's better. You guys have learned my mathematizing skills. All right, see, finish us up in the NFL. We'll get our 3 power plays, and we'll get out of here after we get some WNBA and some preseason hockey from the weekend. Go ahead.
No, the WNBA bit has to stop. That's to be clear to the audience, I do not bet the WNBA. I know and I'm not saying that it's a bad market to bet. I know that there's people who have edges there, but at least there were 3 or 4 years ago. But I'm not included in that. Anyway, on to the NFL. I was gonna give out both the Bucks and the Falcons, so I'm not gonna drag this on anymore. I like the Falcons. That's what I'll settle on. I think this is a good spot for the Falcons here. I don't know. I guess Jaden Daniels is probably not going to play. Is that right? Is that what we're thinking now?
Brian,
do you know Jaden Daniels this week?
That's your club, Brian.
I heard that he may not play again.
All right,
and Mariota gets to face another one of his former teams, I think.
There you go.
Falcons took money today. Yeah, Falcons took a lot of money. I'm assuming it was probably announced.
Yeah, it was 3 on Sunday night. This opened at 3 on Sunday night. I put a little bit on it at 3, but not a lot. I'll probably come back.
Hey guys, if Scariota goes on the road and wins, I will then know the apocalypse is about upon us. That guy was fried 5 years ago. What is Scariota still doing in that league?
Brian's right. He's a good back. He's a really good fit for that offense. He's done
He?
pretty well when he's come in.
Nice. Raiders have a nice team. Mayock did
Yeah,
a really nice job there.
I'm going to go with the Falcons as well. I won't add anything. Lee summed it up. I'll pile in behind him on the Falcons.
All right,
+1.
boys, let's find 3 power plays here because individually we're having great seasons. Last week we were 2-1 in our power plays. Our one loss was, help me out here, guys.
Vandy.
Vanderbilt, who gave up. Vanderbilt scored 70 points. Lee, how about we live in a world where Vandy was a 24.5-point favorite last week?
27.5.
27.5-point favorite and covered with ease, Lee.
How do you score 70 when you run the play clock down to 2 seconds every play? That's pretty amazing, actually. Like they were able to do. Hey, look, that's an old experience, like a bunch of 23, 24-year-olds out there, and they are physical AF, man. Like they will freaking embarrass you. Like that's their goal.
I've been trying to
They're
warn
trying for a movement there.
I've been trying to warn our fan base, man. That Vanderbilt team is not the one you think they are. They're just not. Now, I don't know what's going to be left of them by the time Tennessee gets there. Go ahead, Kyle.
Lee can corroborate and go against what I'm saying, but from being from the mid-state, they're kind of turning this into almost a movement. They're trying to use marketing tactics. The new saying is what Saturday night starts on West End or something like that, and they're really trying to prove to everyone and capitalize on all the attention they're getting with this last year with Pavia, and they're trying to tell everyone, hey, this is the way it's going to be. I think they got a couple commitments. High 4, so they've got a quarterback, I think, 4-star guy coming in. So everything that we're seeing is all about, this isn't just about this year. It's about, this is what we're doing going forward. They got the new stadium in there, which looks really nice. So I'm sure Lee's seen some of the same stuff just on TV and on social media.
What's the slogan again?
I know Clark Lee was saying something about how Saturday night starts on West End.
And then the Pavia brothers, and it ends up in the back of a cop car down there on Broadway. All right, so let's get our power plays out the way so we can go home and take it to the house. Brian Hartman's got Washington +8.5 versus Ohio State. C had that earlier, and I think Lee sent me that as well. Do you guys have any problem with using that as a power play? Anybody? I don't want to pick these. I want you all to pick them.
No problem with it.
That goes with it.
What's that mean?
That goes for me.
Well, you suggested it.
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess not.
Does anybody else speak now or forever hold your peace? Will, do you have a problem with that? Because your name is going to be on this, Will.
No, we all agree on Washington. I was just going to say, if it were up to me, Bama would be the second power play.
Boy, I don't know, guys. Woo!
It's a little scary.
That's
I'm on them too, but
that's putting your balls out there, man. I've been talking all week about loving that game. Let's do Bama.
That's what scares me. Is Tony's been saying Bama's winning straight up all week.
When's the last time Georgia lost at home?
20 8 years.
2019, and they've lost one game at home since 2016.
Kirby wants
Well, they
game.
lost
That's
3
what,
games.
That's what makes me a little nervous. Is
Well,
Kirby
you're saying
wants
they're due.
Alabama's the only team that he seems to falter against. And when he's just like you talk about on the show, Tony, when he circles you as an opponent, which of course you're going to have to with Bama coming to town. That's the only thing that scares me a little bit.
Again, I kind of lean towards Bama too, but I'm just playing the over. My issue with Bama is, again, the number. This was 4.5 again all summer. Then it reopened on Sunday 3.5, as if the Bama beatdown by FSU never happened. Where's the adjustment? Because that was real. That wasn't a figment of my imagination. Why am I going? I'm only getting 3.5 after they got destroyed by FSU. I don't know. That's the biggest red flag for me, is just basically the number. If I was getting 6.5, it would be no doubt. But I understand why they're not giving that out. There's a difference in line making and bookmaking. I get it, but I don't know. 3.5 is. I just like the over personally, but that's the play. If I had to play a side, it would be Bama too.
I say we just stay away from that as a power play.
Yeah, that
I'm
game
not
scares.
against it. We all are on the same side, but I think that
It
I mean
scares me.
I don't know. I don't want to speak for everyone. I agree with the play, so I don't want to.
I agree with the play too. That's
Maybe
your
let's just do
problem.
it. Let's just do it. Let's just do it.
All right. And then we'll come back next week and really, really, really hammer Will. if it doesn't happen. I was thinking for the third one, either stay in the marquee window as a watch along for Garzalaw fifth quarter fan reaction while we're all in there kind of celebrating hopefully Tennessee's win, or I'll be doing a marathon edition and they'll be telling me how Josh Heupel can't coach anymore. So one thing or the other will be accurate, because one thing about us in Knoxville, we don't blow things out of proportion based on one game. Either Penn State -3.5 or give me the Nico special. Give me some Nico love, man. What do you all think? You want to keep
Brian,
it? Go ahead.
I was going to say those are. I like both those, and I think Lee said he likes them best. So I was going to see which one Brian likes better, or Kyle.
I like the Penn State one better because I kind of think Northwestern's who I got.
Willie, what do you want to do?
UCLA's just so bad.
Let's go with the Nico special. That's what your listeners, that's what everybody wants. That's what everybody wants.
You should promote that on the Daily Show tomorrow, Tony.
Oh, don't worry. The Nico special, man. In fact, can we do something between now and then on the over at the VIP play, like number of times he claps? We can't do prop bets during games. I'd like to see the number of times, number of towels overhead in fourth quarter. Sorry. I'm getting mean.
Number of family
Beano
members
with
in the
that clapping,
stands.
Tony.
I'll tell you what, let's just go for dose there. Let's do the UCLA +6.5. There are no rules here.
4 power plays this week.
And we'll do 4 power plays in honor of Blair, who couldn't be here, and in honor of the Juki. Gentlemen, on the way out, anything else you'd care to add? Anything on the Ryder Cup, UFC, preseason hockey? See, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. The playoffs that are going on in a certain league right now. Anybody else?
You laugh, but there's probably more of an edge in preseason hockey than there is in the NFL. And I'm being 100% serious.
Hey, man, I don't doubt anything.
Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
We got. I'm kind of a golf nut as we. I think that Europe is kind of becoming. I mean, Europe's a really like popular public dog here. Not that they're. I think they're. I don't know what they're at right now. They've been moved. The U.S. took some money today. I know on some of the recreational books they're out to like -165. But I see like all these touts and everybody playing Europe. But I think the U.S. is going to get it done this week. We've kind of been talking. I've liked Europe for a long time, like roster wise. But I've talked to some people who are there, and I think it's going to be a tough thing for Europe to win at Bethpage this week. But I'm excited to watch it tomorrow. There's a lot of matchups. It's really bettable, probably the most bettable golf event of the year. So it could be some good live betting opportunities, stuff like that for people on VIP play.
It's really fun. The Ryder Cup is really fun, guys. That's you don't have to be a golf fan to turn that in and watch those guys get heckled and pissed off. And of course, I'm glad the American guys are getting paid to play there. It's very important because God knows, man, they need the money. Those guys need the money. Anything else on the way out here?
You got UFCs in Perth in Australia on Saturday.
Yep.
So it's pretty much, there's an Australian fighter, I believe, in pretty much every fight, and most all of them are favored. And to be honest, most all of them should win. On the main card, it's on the co-main event. Take a look at Jimmy Crute. He's fighting Ivo Aslan. Crute's -200 on the money line, but you can bet him to win by submission at about +165. He's a massive, massive edge on the mat. The grappling disparity here is huge. Aslan's a good boxer, but Crute's the better all-around MMA guy. He's fighting on his home turf. Aslan's a little bit overrated, I think, here. I think he gets completely washed and rinsed on the mat. So I like Crute by submission in the co-main about +160.
Hey, you know what I love about that play? It ties right into what we're doing. because these games, as Steve from Lexington likes to say, are all about Cruton. And you better have some damn players, or you're in big trouble. So, boys, thank you. Much love to you guys. It's been a lot of fun. I want to thank my friends at Dos Equis and VIP Play. Shout out Brian Hartman tonight. Shout out the great Will Heflin. Shout out C. Shout out Nashville Lee. Shout out my man Kyle. Shout out Blair, who couldn't be here. Shout out to Juki, who came in here and made a play earlier. And all the ships at sea. I want to thank my friends at Dos Equis and also VIP Play. I want to remind you, we're live as soon as the Tennessee-Mississippi State game. Hey, guys, let's just real quick here. We're close to an hour anyway. What the hell? I'm going to get yelled at when I go upstairs anyway that this is too long. So what do you guys expect in this Mississippi State ball game?
Big plays. Tennessee makes a few more of them, and they win. They cover.
Points.
I don't understand why that total is as low as it is. I don't know what I'm looking at here.
Can't get player props in Tennessee, but if you could,
Yeah.
would you take Chris Brazzell to score?
Hell yes. A Chris Brazzell anytime touchdown. Could you imagine that?
He don't work hard at it, though.
He doesn't. Yeah, that's good. Brian
Free.
taking a shot. Brian taking a shot.
Free money is
Taking the
as they
mantle from
say.
Matt, Tony. Brian just took the mantle from Matt on you.
I love him, Brian. Hey, listen, man. Hey, I wear it as well as anybody. I don't give a damn. When you're as stupid as I am, I mean, shit. I mean, look at me. I'm morphing into like Uncle Fester met George the Animal Steel. All I gotta do is color my tongue at this point. Gentlemen, Tennessee game. Anything else? I'll tell you another thing that might be interesting to play is the first half total in that game, which I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. But both of these guys have been blistering in the first quarter. Lebby and Heupel are on record clips right now in the first quarter. Both of them are destroying their opponents in the first quarter.
I found a first quarter over 13.5 at one book. I don't know if that's available everywhere, so I don't want to give out some dead number. Yeah. But if you can find that 13.5, I wouldn't play it over that, but 13.5 I think is good. More than likely, with the way these two teams play, probably going to get 4 possessions in the first quarter. I normally don't like playing these at all, but if you can get 4 possessions, it's a pretty good shot. You're probably getting 2 touchdowns with the game scripts from Lebby and Heupel. I took some of that. I couldn't get a whole lot down on it, but if you can find it, I think that's definitely worth playing. If some reason this line falls to 7, then I'll definitely be on Tennessee.
It's got all the makings of it. One of these fascinating SEC, kind of sitting right there looking at you. And look, Dave Neal's on the call, which means it is the SEC's version of a dark match. You know, in terms of the 4:15 Eastern time game. I mean, they buried that game. Is the SEC card that good, guys, that they should bury this?
Yes.
Game? It
is.
Yeah,
it is. You have Auburn, A&M, and LSU. Ole Miss
They could have buried the South Carolina-Kentucky game, so that's one they could have really buried.
But the thing is, if you had flipped those, then Tennessee would be going against Oregon and Penn State. And
they're on the same
Georgia,
time
Alabama,
as Bama, Georgia, so maybe not.
Boys, it's been fun. Thank you, guys.
See you guys.
I want to thank my friends at VIP Play / Dos Equis. Thank you. Go for Dos. We love you. Peace. Hit the winner. Stay away from those damn losers. And Brian Hartman, I see you over there hanging out in the corner, taking shots at me. We're going to have to talk about that later. Peace. I love you. God bless. GBO. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you.